It was night, and we sat around a small campfire in the Arizona desert. In that dry, empty land of stones and high ridges, we had seen little but snakes and hawks. We had seen no other people. Beyond the circle of our firelight, the darkness stood like a solid black wall. Suddenly, a stranger walked into our camp and sat down. "You are not the first men to cross this desert," he said. We were surprised. Several of the men in our group put their hands on their pistols. The stranger paid no attention to them. He kept talking and we listened. "For men came this way 30 years ago," the stranger said. "Their names were Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer. They came from the town of Tucson. They were bound for California. Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer were traveling west. They crossed this desert without a guide." The stranger repeated the 4 names. His voice was low and he spoke slowly. Later we asked one another questions. Where had this man come from? Was he alone? Where was his own camp? Why was he out here in the middle of this empty country? We guessed that the stranger was a lonely wanderer who wanted the company of other men. A man may go mad if he stays alone in a place like this. The stranger sat on the far side of our fire. I could not see his face clearly because his hat was pulled low over his brow. I raised the brim a little. What did the stranger look like? Well, there was nothing strange about him. He looked like any one of our own men. We all wore broad-brimmed hats, and he wore one too. We watched and listened while he told his tale. Later we remembered his words, but not his face. "This place was different 30 years ago," the stranger said. "Only Apache Indians and a few soldiers lived here then. Many men have vanished in this desert. The Apaches killed some of them. Others died of thirst because they could not find water. The Apaches killed strangers slowly and horribly. We did not want to meet them." The stranger fell silent for a few seconds. Then he went on with his story. "The 4 of us, Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer, moved only a few miles each day. Some days we found water, but on other days we and our horses went thirsty. The heat by day was terrible, so we rode at night while we were crossing the desert. We were going to California to seek gold. We had come a long way. We could not turn back after so many days. One night we reached some mountains where we found a little water and some wild game. We managed to shoot a few animals, so at last we had meat. We ate and slept, and soon we felt stronger. But a few days later the Apaches discovered us." The stranger stared into the flames as he spoke. "The Indians were behind us," he said. "They began to shout. They carried rifles and they opened fire on us. There were about 40 Apaches, and only 4 of us. We could not face them all. We tried to hide among the rocks, but the Apaches came after us. At last we reached a steep cliff. We could not escape now. We were trapped. What could we do? We took our guns and left our horses at the foot of the cliff. Then we climbed the face of the rock. There were 4 of us, Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer." "We've heard those names before," one of our men said. "Go on, what happened?" The stranger did not answer that question. He continued his story. "We climbed the sheer rock and found the mouth of a cave, he said. The Apaches did not follow immediately. They were busy with our horses. They were examining the packs and gear. While the Apaches ransacked our equipment, we slipped into the cave. The entrance was narrow, and from inside we could fire on anyone who tried to enter. But we had a difficulty. There was no way out at the back of the cave. For a time we were safe from the Indians, but we were not safe from hunger and thirst. The Apaches made their camp outside the cave. We could see the glow of their fire. They waited for us to come out. They knew we would grow hungry and thirsty. After 2 or 3 days we would have to leave the cave, because we had no supplies. When we came out, the Apaches would kill us. Slowly. We stayed in that cave 3 days and 3 nights, the stranger said. We took turns to sleep. While 3 slept, one of us kept watch. But we had no food and no water. No man can live long in this desert without water. A man goes mad without water. First he loses his reason, and then he dies. Miguel Ortega died first, the stranger said. He died on the morning of the 4th day. I am going to die today, Miguel told us. But the Apaches will not kill me. Then he took his pistol. He put the muzzle to his head and fired. And so Miguel Ortega escaped the slow death of hunger and thirst. And he escaped the Apaches. That left 3 of us: Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer. I was the leader, the stranger said. I spoke to the others. Miguel Ortega was brave, I told them. He knew when to die, and he knew how to die. It is foolish to go mad from thirst. None of us wishes to be killed slowly by the Apaches. Let us follow Miguel Ortega. Daniel Price and Aaron Blake agreed. I laid Miguel Ortega on the ground and covered his face with a handkerchief. Then Daniel Price looked at Miguel's body. I want to die as peacefully as he did, he said. Aaron Blake nodded. A few minutes later, Daniel Price and Aaron Blake placed the muzzles of their pistols against their temples. Then they fired. I laid their bodies beside Miguel Ortega's and covered their faces with handkerchiefs. One of our men stood up suddenly. And you, he cried at the stranger. You let your friends die and you lived. We ought to shoot you. The captain of our group gripped the man's arm. Quiet now, he said. You're listening to a tale. This stranger has been in the desert long enough to tell such a tale. The stranger has named 4 men, I said. His story is about 4 men. Is he the 5th? How does he know this? It cannot be true. It is an old story, our captain said, and there is some truth in it. I heard it when I was younger. Years ago, the army found the bodies of 4 men here. The soldiers said the Apaches had killed them. The bodies were buried near the mouth of a cave. I think the soldiers found those bodies somewhere close to here. This stranger tells the same story. But there was never a 5th traveler. Suddenly, the stranger rose and stepped back from the fire. The flames were low, they threw only a little light. Beyond the ring of fire was black night. There were only 4 men. The stranger said, Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, Aaron Blake, and Luke Mercer. Then he turned and walked away into the dark. At that moment one of our men came running into the camp. He had been watching our horses. There are 3 men near the camp, the guard cried. I've been watching them. They are standing out there. The guard pointed beyond the reach of our light. Those men have stood there for a long time, he said. Something strange is happening here. They do not move and they do not speak. They are just standing outside our camp. Who are they? Are they waiting for someone? They frighten me. Miguel Ortega, Daniel Price, and Aaron Blake, I said. I think we have been talking to Luke Mercer. What kind of fools walk around at night? The guard asked. They stand in the dark outside our camp. They do not speak and they do not move. I could have shot them. I might have killed them. You cannot kill them, our captain said. They are already dead.